full. We commanding the block. Burgundy and gold got the city on lock. Hustling plays, they don't need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Commanders moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. K-Dot in the mid, dissect the grind. District divider with a city in mind. Join the damn squad, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the words, so shit is shit. K-Dot.
Welcome everyone to District Divided, a DC sports podcast. More specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit, that is K-Dot, and we've got ourselves a playoff edition of District Divided over here. So it's the Bucs Commanders preview. We get into that primarily. We begin with the All-22 review against the Dallas Cowboys, what went well, what didn't. There's a quick one over there. We get to the predictions of that Bucs Commanders game that's happening Sunday night. We got the primetime treatment. The nation wants to see the Washington Commanders in action. Comment mailbag as we always do. But before we begin this episode, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and K-Dot.
Bust talk big, but they fold in the clutch. District divided, we don't give a fuck. Jayden's a star while they cannons misfire. Burn they ship, raise our flag, take it higher. Commanders move quick, no room to quit. We in the playoffs, baby. Now share this shit, share this shit, share this shit. The East runs red, so share this shit, share this shit, share this shit. The East runs red.
Playoffs! Shit! Woo!
All right.
Wildcard round, baby.
So I was break character for a sec. Listen, you need to share that with me immediately. That is the hardest intro we have ever had. That is going straight to Twitter. That is unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Hey, share this shit just like the maestro, the creator, K-Dot said right there. That was unbelievable. I'm fucking fired up. Let's go ahead and jump into the All-22 review featuring that man himself, K-Dot.
It's the All-22 review on District Divided. Bitches!
Another elite intro from our very own K-Dot over there as we jump into the All-22 review, which, again, is against the Dallas Cowboys in the final week of the regular season that saw Marcus Mariota come in for Jayden, who had some, soreness. And so we'll get into how Marcus played, I'm sure, along with Jayden just a little bit. And as you know, when it comes to this segment, K-Dot, you do a lot for it because you don't just use 50 screens and you don't use 60 screens. No, you use 70 screens to get all the angles at various speeds as well. Some are at half speed, some are 2x speed, just to understand what is going on. So, K-Dot, what did you see on the film this past week?
Well, once again, majority of my TV is still in movie mode. A lot of French films recently. Also, more than half the screens were focused on the Bucs, not the Cowboys. Who gives a fuck about this game, right? I'm going to keep this shit simple. Let's keep this shit really simple. Offense, defense. What went wrong? Yeah, we're going to focus on what went wrong. Okay? Yeah, that's the thing. A game like this, what can you hold on to going forward, right? Cowboys kind of suck. Jayden gets out really early in this game. What can you hold on to? All right. Jayden, let's start with him. I told you after the last, when we watched the game, that I was like, hey, I can't tell if guys are covered, if they're not covered, if the pressure's just getting to them. What's going on? Mostly Jayden. Their shots just didn't take them. There's still a thing that's happening on defense in which they can disguise, especially guys on the line when they drop back in coverage. He doesn't trust what he's saying. But you can see what was when he threw that pick to the linebacker 2 weeks ago. It's just shit like that. He's just not. He's a little unsure about what it is he wants to do. So he's he knows what he has pre-snap. Then he sees what he sees on the first read, and there's all right, just take the shot, just go, just don't even think about it, just do it. And nope. Held back, and then offensive line's not doing a great job. You can especially see that after Biotish goes out,
right?
And it's a recipe for disaster all around, right? Ball not coming out quick enough. Jayden standing there, shit's not going to work out the way it needs to work out. Yeah, he's just that the nervousness on some of this guy's defensive looks is like, but then there are the moments where it was like, I was proud of him. There was some that he was like, okay, you took that, you saw it, you diagnosed it immediately, you did it. And you know what? Bad ball. Like it was a bad ball. Look, this is a rookie game. This felt like a rookie game. There were some of those moments where it's like you could still see, and I would classify it as a Jayden rookie game because there's still those moments where I'm like proud of him. I'm like, God, that was a good look. Just you didn't nail on him. Maybe you got too excited that the look was good, right? Like I don't know exactly. Then you got the wide receivers are not on the same page with Jayden. You can see the Terry McLaurin stuff. Majority of that wasn't on McLaurin. Like if you're really looking at it, majority of it was Jayden's not throwing the ball where he needs to as far as Terry. We expect Terry to be more of a superstar and catch some of those balls every once in a while, but no, Jayden's got to throw a better ball. He's got to be more consistent.
Yeah. So your final sort of takeaway there is Jayden, rookie game, had some jitters or something, just wasn't on the same page with his receivers, and you'd put that more on Jayden being a rookie in this game. Yeah,
because what happened when Mariota came in? Wasn't a huge difference as far as what the offensive game plan was, right? Like we want to criticize, let's say, the run game, which is something that was pretty much non-existent in this game. It's like, well, why did they do it with it? I just don't think Kliff was committed to it, in all honesty. I also don't think that what was happening early on, you got Eckler running the wrong way on certain things. You got what's going on as far as the injuries up on the front. I just don't think he trusted it. Not to mention, it wasn't like they were really generating anything. And if we're being completely honest, one of the reasons I don't think he went to the run game is if you look at it from a coverage standpoint, the plays were there to be made through the air.
So he was just Kliff's like, hey, it's gonna happen. It's there.
It's just gonna happen, right? It'll happen at some point. But you see, what's the difference when Mariota gets in? The ball's out. The ball's out. Like that's what it was. He's not holding on to it too long. The ball is out. And when the ball is out, you get more cracks out of what he finished from 15 to 18. Yeah. Wasn't a totally different offense. It was the same thing. He was just executing on a level that Jayden just wasn't. I don't know what it was. Maybe there's the bright lights in Dallas. I'm not sure. But he's a rookie. You have these moments. It's just, and that's what it also goes down to is like we've seen him have moments like this over the course of the season, right? And little small batches here and there. Lord knows what would happen if he would have stayed in the game. I remember the question last episode, do you think we win that game if Jayden stays in? Mm-hmm. I couldn't tell. If he plays the way he was in the first half, fuck no.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not, right? But if somebody gets in his ear, and maybe that's why you can see even some frustration that he want to get back in, because we've also seen the second half where it's like somebody said, get the ball out. There needs to be a rule established. I've talked about this at certain points early in the season. I put it at 2 seconds. He's not going to get the ball out in 2 seconds, but at 2 seconds, motherfucker, you better be throwing it. You better be going to start to throw it. If you are staying in the pocket, you've got a time limit, you son of a bitch. Like you have to get rid of the ball. I don't need you overthinking. If you are running out of the pocket or doing whatever, okay, take more time, see what develops. But the way this offense is running and the way that I saw it, especially in this, there were plays to be made if you just take the shots.
Any final thoughts on this side of the ball before flipping to the defense?
Yeah, the only other thing I would say is that another thing that I saw that they did a lot in this Dallas game, and I've seen it spotty throughout the season, is them blitzing DBs. It's an interesting wrinkle. Number one is the way that they're disguising things. You can see it's a little bit for Jayden, but also the defensive backs are in a much better position to make a play on Jayden than it'd be any linebacker or defensive lineman. They just have the athleticism to keep up with him. So there are some things in that I would expect. I don't know why we haven't seen it maybe necessarily more. Maybe it's just because of defensive personnel. You don't necessarily have the guy that you can blitz from there. But that was an interesting thing. I'm not saying that they weren't massively successful with it, but you could absolutely see it was something that we were like, all right, we're rushing things because of this.
Got it. It's a bit of a different look. All right, cool. So let's go over and look at the defense. Where shout out Mikey Sanders still winning Pepsi Rookie of the Week with a great game overall. So congrats to him. That now means Jayden has won 11 and Mike's won 1. What a year for Pepsi Rookie of the Week here with the Washington Commanders. On to the defense, K-Dot.
Rush defense, inconsistent as shit. Like you look at the stat line at the end of the game, you're like, oh, well, they Dallas stayed with the run, but it wasn't like they had massive success. It was, you look at that time possession, you look at what they were able to do around the football. It was effective for what it is they were, and you're looking at where their talent level is without a CeeDee Lamb. That's a 6 hustle day on the ground. The thing with Washington that I'm still seeing, and you saw it spotty, they've had moments in the season where it looks good. They've had moments in the season where it looks a little rough. It's just inconsistencies up front on the defensive line. We try to do certain things over the course of the season, like some run stunts, which look, when you have a defensive line the way we do, which is a lot of aggressive, over-pursuing motherfuckers, you run a stunt, you'll get some penetration, you'll get in the backfield. The only thing is, if your timing's not 100% correct on the stunt, and everybody's not in the exact same situation that they need to be in, you just opened a massive opportunity for the offense to get some yards, okay? And that shit happens, and that's happened throughout the course of the season. They get aggressive when it comes to the run just to make sure they're not going to get beat really, really deep or try to get those negative plays. Because, look, this defense comes alive when you get a negative 2-yard run or a negative 3-yard run. They could do more things on the rest of that series. So you could see they sell out sometimes for that, and it bites them in the ass. There just needs to be more of an element of the defensive line playing with more cohesiveness, especially in the running attack. And I told you guys last episode that they did some things as far as moving Deron Payne there on the outside.
Right.
They did that a lot in this game. You can see it was effective. Like, I don't know the exact count. It was somewhere around probably 10, 11, 12, something like that. Okay. The times that he was outside. Good and amount. Overall, it was damn good. Like, I don't think that I didn't see anything get broken. Even nothing that got called back from a penalty or anything. He was more effective there. I think also there was an angle where I think that they might have been a little concerned that Trey Lance might have been able to beat him on the outside, so they went to more of like a zone read sort of thing. And I got to give Deron Payne credit for as big as he is. He did hold his own out there on the outside. So maybe you start seeing more of that, but like it was the most consistent thing. It's just I think that they don't want that to be the base defense.
Okay, don't want it to be the base defense, but is it safe to say that in your mind, hey, 2 for 2 in terms of weeks where it's been successful?
Yeah, his athleticism and the way he can do is being out there. They're going to rely on that. And especially when you got like a Jonathan Allen's now back in the rotation, they could feel better about moving some of these guys around. But overall, this defensive line is built more for the pass rush than it is for the run. And they're just not elite when it comes to that either at this particular point. So it's just, there's a talent discrepancy. There's a talent discrepancy compared to what it is they want to do. That even gets more into line when you see about what's happening with the pass defense, right? You can see Witt and Quinn want to do some things on defense, but they are absolutely limited in what they have from a talent standpoint. So it was nice seeing Mikey Sanders still get rookie of the week. But when you look at the game, you're like, well, he got rookie of the week, and Trey Lance had those numbers again. Like, does that compute? And it's like, no, Mikey did a pretty good job. But there's also within the confines of the defense, I think what you're seeing is Quinn and Witt are just like, we're gonna get beat. Like we're gonna have to give up some stuff. This is an absolute bend but don't break defense. They are trying absolutely everything to make sure they don't get beat up over the top. So what do they allow? They allow a lot of crossing routes. They allow a lot of corner stuff. They allow stuff near the side of the field, and just make sure you're tackling. And they let that stuff go. And that stuff was happening throughout the game. They just don't have the personnel necessary to really press these guys the way that they need to. There was a lot more man in this game than there was zone. They want to play more zone. They want to play man as far as from a personnel standpoint, but man gives them more flexibility to do certain things. So that's where you get into the bend but don't break. Let them have whatever within the 20s and then kind of buckle down in the red zone.
This lines up so well with what they worked on in training camp. One of the things that stood out to me hearing reports from training camp is, hey, we're working on red zone offense, red zone defense over and over and over. That was priority number 1. So it makes sense that inside the 20, a team does get a little bit better, but we are giving that up until that 100%. Point. So it's good to know. Any final thoughts there before we move on to the game preview here?
Yeah, so when I say that they didn't want to give up the big plays, they did give up the big plays in this game too. But it's how they got there. There's one play Noah Igbenogany just falls down. There's another one where it's like, or there's a couple other ones where it's just back to the communication on the back end's not happening the way it needs to. There's a lot of when guys go in motion, there's not enough hand signals or at least an understanding. I'm going with this guy. You need to take this guy. I think they're in their heads a little bit too much. And they're trying a little too hard, and then you have a lot of moments where it's like, oh shit, I was supposed to have that guy, or oh shit, I'm out of position. Benjamin St. Juste, I got a lot of compliments for the man, I'm being completely honest, but there were some moments even in this game where I saw something that was busted that did not look like his fault, and he was trying to make up for it. So like there was some recognition from St. Juste on some stuff where I was like, okay, you're just not athletically talented enough sometimes to get shit done. And you're so focused on trying to get there that sometimes the mental mistakes will happen. But you did some good job as far as diagnosing some stuff in this game that I was like, okay, that could be interesting. But mainly on defense, like it's just lack of consistency and then working cohesive as a group. It's the defensive line, the spacing's out of whack. They're not communicating the way they need to as far as on the secondary and also on the defensive line. They're so fucking aggressive at times that they're going to get beat every once in a while by a long run. I just think we've been lucky actually in that department.
Okay, well, we're about to play a team that has a running back that's been doing really, really well. So with that, This concludes the All-22 review of K-Dot and on to the game preview against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Washington Commanders once again on the road as the 6th seed against the 3 seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers Sunday night on NBC or Peacock, whatever you choose to watch with. And 8:20 or 8 p.m. kickoff. Sorry. Yeah. I don't want you missing the first quarter game there. 8 p.m. Kickoff. And so with that, we provide the context for the game. And so we begin with the injury report over here at K-Dot. Thank you. And so what you can see here, the main names to look at, Tyler Biadasz, who missed the Dallas Cowboys game limited, looks like he's going to be good to go for the game, which is huge. Absolutely huge. Tyler Biadasz back. And the other name, of course, not in the black font because his status didn't change at all. Marshon Lattimore. Would you look at that? With the hamstring, full participant Wednesday and Thursday. Jayden, of course, having that soreness is on the injury report, but nothing to worry about there. He said he's good to go. So why don't we go ahead and flip this now over to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where you'll see, hey, Mike Evans didn't practice yet. He's just resting. Okay. He knows he's going to go against Marshon Lattimore. That's going to be quite the matchup for them. Jamel Dean is someone who missed the last game against the New Orleans Saints. He is limited. Looks like he's on track to play. Antoine Winfield at the very bottom of this list here. With the knee, he's missed the last 4 games. So getting him back, a huge boost for the defense there. And so that is pretty much, those are the main bits of the injury report. And why don't we go ahead and get into the breakdown of the game, which features our offense led by Jayden Daniels, Kliff Kingsbury in the lot against this Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. So K-Dot, as always, over to you. What do you see that we need to do in order to put up some points on this Bucs defense?
So there are 3 things that I was targeting. So like the All-22, I did not dedicate most of my time to watching the Cowboys film as much as I was trying to watch a lot of the Bucs stuff over the course of the season, or especially over the course of the last few weeks, because there's some differences in stuff that they're doing defensively and like how it'll line up against what we're doing right here. And I'll tell you right now, there will be some opportunities in this game for us to do some things, but it's only if we get some things right. So let me go to the keys right here, and then I'm going to go to the NFL Pros keys that I've been pulling every week, and then I'll go to what my keys to the game will be. So here you can see there are opportunities. We get 1 5-star as far as the quarterback scramble, which is going to be huge in this game, I think. Yep. Outside of that, there are some aspects of like different things that we can do. Running the ball and passing the ball. There are opportunities here in this game. It's not like the Bucs are not some commanding ass defense. They're not that great. There are some things that they do that you just have to neutralize. Number 1, the blitz. They love to blitz. They fucking adore blitzing. They love showing a lot of different things when it comes to blitz. They are aggressive as shit. Every time that anytime you see a team do anything in motion, Todd Bowles basically has it built in. All right, cover 0 blitz. Like, if they went in motion, just do that. If it's an empty set, blitzing. Like, if they look for every opportunity to say, fuck it, we're going to blitz. And you can actually see that over the course of the season. I have my little fact thing. After blitzing on just 32.5% of pass rushes in weeks 1 through 10, the Buccaneers have blitzed on 48.6 of pass rushes since their week 11 bye, the highest rate in the NFL. Now, okay, you know they're going to blitz. There are some aspects of the blitzing where you can show certain dynamics to Jayden Daniels. They might, oh, well, is he going to be okay when it comes to that? Well, number 1, Jayden Daniels has been the best quarterback against the blitz, like in the league, pretty much, right? We invite it. Like, we bring it, motherfuckers. Like, we got a dude that can get rid of the ball when you want to get rid of the ball. Remember, even when I talk about the All-22, it's not usually the blitz that fucks us up. It's the look like we're going to blitz, and then we don't blitz because we drop somebody in coverage, which is the wrinkle that Jayden kind of struggles with every once in a while. These motherfuckers, I mean, unless what's Todd Bowles, smart-ass dude, good defensive mind, playing against a rookie quarterback in the playoffs, you'd think maybe we don't oversimplify this thing. Maybe we simplify this thing. He's just a rookie. I'd have what my game plan is for Todd Bowles, but I also think they kind of have to live aggressively just because of the talent discrepancies in certain aspects of that team. So they're going to sell out. They're going to be fucking bringing it. Get rid of the fucking football. Boom, bat. Boom, bat. How do you neutralize the blitz? Screens, quick passes, get the ball out. You can also stick with some of the run stuff. Keep them a little honest. Keep them near the line of scrimmage. There's just things that you can do to neutralize the blitz because these motherfuckers are going to be doing it all day long come Sunday.
Right.
Number 2. All right, you want to?
No, go ahead. I figured you run through it and then I'll react to it. Yeah.
Stay ahead of the fucking chains. Negative plays, penalties. You cannot give these fuckers an opportunity to even get in a more exotic sort of blitz. If you end up in a situation where it's 3rd and 15, it's very different with what they're going to do is 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 4. Like, there's some wrinkles and shit that we don't want to see. We don't want to see how creative fucking Todd Bowles is being. We don't want a rookie quarterback seeing something that he's never fucking seen before, right? Keep ahead of the fucking chains. I will actually give Washington credit in this last game against Dallas. There's something I didn't bring out, which is that the ahead of the chain stuff, as far as the mental mistakes, didn't really happen all that much in that game. There was one in the first half, as far as I think it was John Bates holding call, and then but that was on first down. You still don't want to do that, but it wasn't like what we would typically see on the 3rd down, where like allowing us to get in terrible situations, whatever. In the second half, you had like some of the issues as far as in the fourth quarter, you had more than one offensive penalty. But for the most part in the game against Dallas, I actually thought that part of it, we stayed kind of clean. It was just other aspects of the game that wasn't working. You got to stay ahead of the chains here. You cannot be in a situation where they can really pin their ears back and get really hyper aggressive, because once again, just the way football works, if you got a 3rd and 15, it takes longer for the receivers to get in position when it's 3rd and 15, which means Jayden will have to hold him the football. So don't do that. They're coming after you. Do not let it be an easier thing for them. And at number 3, target the open spaces. There will be space in this game, especially in the short game. This is where your Austin Ecklers, your tight ends, these guys need to have these moments. I think this is one of those moments where you see what Zach Ertz was able to do as far as getting yak in the last few weeks. Yak it up, motherfuckers. Like, this should be a big Austin Eckler game, which is why I think he played so much this fucking last game, is to get him back to that game feel. But you remember early on in the season was a lot of quick throws to Austin Eckler and see what he could do on the outside. There's going to be absolutely some moments to hit some really high percentage, short passes, and then let your playmakers do shit. There's going to be ample opportunity to do it. You just got to get the ball out of your fucking hands.
Yeah. And I got to say, so that first point, when we're talking about the quarterbacks, we're talking about pressure and Todd Bowles and blitzing. So their leading sackers are Vita Vea and Kalijah Kancey at 7 and 7.5 respectively. And those guys are the interior of the line. So that means they're not getting much off the edges. So when they rush with 4, it's not been that successful. If you look at their sack percentage per game, middle of the pack at around 6-7%. And so you do have opportunities if you're Jayden to honestly boom bap for sure, but also you will have time in the pocket if they don't bring pressure. If they do, and this is exactly why you see 5 stars on the QB scrambles, is Jayden's athletic enough to, in that very first game, 16 carries, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yes, it was his first ever NFL game, but also defense is giving it to him, right? If he's able to roll right and take 7-8 yards, or he had that longer run for about 25, expect to see Jayden use his legs, because the Bucs rushing defense, 4.3 yards per carry, but against running backs, honestly pretty good. They've only given up 200-yard rushers all year. That's Derrick Henry, of course, and he's one of the legends of the game, future Hall of Famer, with a good Baltimore offensive line there. And then the other was Kareem Hunt, which is kind of random, but it was 27 carries for 106 yards. I mean, so these guys, it's going to be on Jayden's shoulders. It's going to be on a rookie quarterback's shoulders on the road to make the plays. Fortunately, you're playing a Bucs defense that, from a passer rating perspective, give up around a 97. That's the worst amongst all playoff teams. So it's something to look at, that it's going to be primarily Jayden here that needs to make the plays. If we are able to run, that's a bonus. But I wouldn't be surprised if Kliff goes, hey, I'm looking at it. I trust Jayden. We are dropping back a whole bunch. And then Jayden, if you see an opportunity to run, go for it. What do you make of that, K-Dot?
100%. Like, look, this goes back to, I'm throwing to set up the run more than I'm running to set up the throws. And when I talk about even the run game to me is going to be a lot of that short passing stuff. It's get the ball out. There are opportunities on your delayed throws to running backs. Your running back goes to the chip, slides out. He's going to be open
with plenty of space.
With tons of space, right? deliver those kind of balls right in this particular game. Like that's how you get rid of the overly aggressiveness of this defense. There are going to be opportunities. The only thing I push back on just a little bit would be the idea as far as Jayden holding on the ball. Look, I'm all for if you got time in the pocket, look through your progressions and make the fucking throw. The thing with Jayden is I've seen him at his best when he ain't thinking that much. So, like, I want things to kind of be quick. If you're going to be doing the overly developed, like, wait for things, get out, run, do some shit, do your little magical shit that makes you feel special or whatever. Like, and there'll be room to do it. There's going to absolutely be room to fucking do it. I just don't want him. I can just see it right now. Jayden feels those clean pocket. Then one of the guards of the center just fuck up. And you got a defensive tackle right in his fucking face. And it's like, oh no.
Well, I think what I'm trying to say is it's one of those unique situations where if the Bucs don't get pressure because they're only rushing forward and they confuse us by not blitzing at all, let's say, that could be completely foreign in this 100%. Type of situation. So if I'm Todd Bowles, I'm maybe not blitzing that much. I hope Todd Bowles stays true to what he does, just to be totally honest. But
that's where it goes down to. I told you that if I was Todd Bowles, I know I'm diverging a little bit from the plan just because I've seen what seems to work the best against Jayden. But this particular game, I need Jayden to just go. Look, it's playoff times. Like, I can all be about I don't want my quarterback to be running as much as this, that, and the other. That changes come
playoff mode. It's playoff mode. You're going to see Josh Allen run a whole lot for the Bills. You're going to see Lamar do some running. You're going to see Mahomes do some running. This is what happens once you get to the playoffs.
Right.
Throw everything out, do whatever it takes to win the game. So we're going to see some awesome quarterback play. We're going to see some boneheaded mistakes across the board too, because people are going to try too hard. It's playoffs, man. It's playoffs.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh. I just, somebody said something. I got a text just now. Apparently Deshaun Watson tore his Achilles just now.
Just now?
Yeah. But I was laughing at the comment somebody made. It's not funny that these guys get injured. I know that I was catching shit about it a couple weeks ago, so it's not what I'm trying to do. But goddamn, karma's a motherfucker.
Gosh, while he's rehabbing. All right, well, any final thoughts here?
Yeah, The Ringer. Huge fan of The Ringer over on this side. I do not like that they lost Ben Solak, even though ESPN got a lot better because of him and Mina Kimes. I can't wait to listen because I didn't get a chance to listen just yet. Danny Heifetz, who does the Ringer Fantasy Football Show, he actually was here he was here with the team for a couple weeks, and he just did a long-form article on theringer.com about the team and about what has happened over the course, because Heifetz is a local dude, so he talked to some people. I would strongly suggest reading the article, but there are a couple things that I just got out of it as we're talking about the offense that I want to make sure that we know if you haven't read the article.
No, not yet.
So, on the Fantasy Football Show last night, Danny Heifetz's co-host asked him, so, hey, man, what are the vibes in Washington? Danny says, the vibes is Jayden Daniels is a motherfucking superhero.
There you go.
Everyone is kind of like, this is sick. While we didn't know we'd be here, this is cool. Like, there's a freedom. Like, where they're at. Like, you just see, everybody's just sort of like, yeah, we got a guy. Like, it's awesome. Danny asked Terry McLaurin, what percentage of the success do you put on Jayden? He's like 50%, easily 50%.
One guy, 50.
50%. It's like here's the thing. It wasn't an anointing. This is not Aaron Rodgers being thought upon to save you before he gets in the building. This is strictly they have been there on the field or on the sidelines watching the magical shit that this man has been doing, and they're just like, yo. We are here for the ride, and we are excited, and we're happy. And that, to me, that's that sweet spot I can talk about with this team, right? You're playing with house money. Have fun.
Guys on the sidelines, they're fans too. That's what I'm picking up on. Is that, and our hero, by the way, Jayden Daniels, according to the article, I mean, he's just like, it's just another game. I'm in my routine. So, yep. I mean, like, it's the even-keeled, the poise, the relaxed. Like, you hope that carries over to the playoffs. And so far, in big moments, he's been nothing short of magnificent. So let's see if it can continue come playoff time now.
Remember, I kept talking in the offseason about, I only think there's one quarterback that really has a special sauce. It's Caleb, right?
Yep.
The entire time reading the Danny Heifetz article, I'm like, boy, you don't know shit about no special sauce, all right? You cannot make no Big Macs over on your end. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm listening, the entire time I'm reading, I'm like, God damn, was I wrong about this?
There's a reason I threw on the shades immediately when we drafted him. This guy.
And everybody believes. But once again, you got to play loose. Yeah. A lot of stuff that I've seen on all 22 stuff, you get a little too tight. You guys are overthinking shit. Have fun. House money.
House money. Have fun. And with that, let's go over to the defense, which has a really tall task here against this Buccaneers offense. The over-under for this game, and we'll talk about it some more, 50.5. The Bucs average damn near 30 points a game. So K-Dot, on this side of the ball, you got an experienced Baker Mayfield who's definitely found his home in Tampa Bay, doing very well. He's played 5 playoff games. He's played at home well. He's played on the road well. What do we need to do over here to slow down the Bucs offense? That's not 4 stars instead of 5 stars.
We got a 5-star. They don't have one of those, right?
Exactly.
Look, yeah, there's this looks to be a shootout. Okay, this looks to be like one of those shootouts.
In almost a best case scenario.
It really works for us if it's a shootout, because I'll go to my 3 keys. Number 1, I actually had an order, and then I realized I didn't put it in the order that I should have. I'm going to start with what's most crucial. Stop the fucking run. You got to stop the run as early in the game as possible. Look, talk about watching the all 22. These motherfuckers are going to be throwing everything at us. Counter runs, a lot of shit that we do. Their GT counter, very similar to what it is we do here. A lot of inside zone shit. Like Bucky Irving's a dude.
That boy, Bucky Irving. Oh my goodness.
But I tell you right now, if they didn't have Bucky Irving, they'd be completely satisfied with Rashad White. It's just a plus. Right? So it's like they got dudes back there that can fucking play. You got to get him in those long down and distances to eliminate the running game from them as best as you can in each series, which means the same thing I talked about in the all 22. You're going to have to run some stunts. You're going to have to do some things to get some penetration in the backfield. But if you do not play sound, if you are not communicating right, if you don't have your spacing correct, you will be in the backfield and then looking behind you as Bucky Irving is running for 60 yards. And he will do it to you really quickly.
Yeah, and if I could jump in on this one. Bucky, so I believe the stat is there are certain running backs with over 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns on the season, something like that. There are 4 of them. It's Saquon Barkley, it's Derrick Henry, it's Jahmyr Gibbs, and it's this rookie Bucky Irving. So like he's real. They are giving him the ball anywhere from 15 to 20 times a game now. Rashad White's still involved, excellent in pass protection. But to put it quite simply, and I challenge anyone in the comment mailbag to tell me otherwise, or you, K-Dot, to tell me otherwise. If we don't stop the run, we lose the game. Forget it. This game is 1st and 10. If you do not stop Bucky Irving or Rashad White or heck, Sean Tucker, they can all run, then this game's a wrap. I don't see how we win this game if they're averaging 5 yards a carry. So stop Bucky Irving, first and foremost.
Once again, we go into a situation where it's I don't think we'll be able to. And if that's the case, then, and I think that's been the case in a lot of these games that we've seen that we've actually won. The thing that you need to do is take the running out of the equation for them.
Yes.
You might not be able to stop. Look, you got to sell it with the stunts. You got to do everything you can do to do it as, and you're shooting to only have to do that for a quarter or two.
So let me also clarify. Stopping Bucky Irving could mean he just runs for 2 yards on first down. He could end up getting chunk plays here and there, but if it's 2 yards on first down, you're forcing a 2nd and 8. Right. And that's very different from a 2nd and 5. So if you give up a 1st and 10, 20-yard run, okay, that sucks. But the next 1st and 10 is 2 yards. I would take that over a 1st and 10, 5 yards, and another 1st and 10, another 5 yards. That's 100%. What I'm saying.
100%. So you're selling out to get them in the situation where they can't do it anymore.
Correct.
Right. So like, that's what it is. Like, that's what we did in a lot of these games. We've been having success. I've told you time and time again, even going back to the Tennessee game, I'm like, if Paula had more carries, he would have whooped our ass. Like, I'm like, if they had more carries, they would have kicked our ass. But we offense, score, get you in a situation where it's all right, well, we can't rely on the run. You got to do that. And also, like you said, if you can run the stunt to perfection and get Bucky Irving for a negative 3 yard loss, which we've done against everybody at some point, right? It takes them out of the equation. They can't do it now. So now you got to play the other aspects of the defense, which we'll get into, in order to just eliminate it from you. You just want to take away the opportunities. Because number 2, actually, this would be a toss-up as far as where I want to go, but I'll keep it. They're both kind of fun. Limit Mike Evans, okay? You got to take him out of the equation as best as you possibly can do. I'm going as far as to say you got to double team, do whatever the fuck it is you got to do.
Ooh, Mike may differ here.
Mike Evans, to me, he's Baker's guy. Like, Baker will force a ball into Michael Evans or Mike Evans just to do it because he has that much trust.
Respect, Michael Evans.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, there's so many Mikes and Mikeys. I'm thinking about Sanders still too. Like, so this goes down to what I think the key matchup is going to be. Look, if you can prevent the double team and just let your boy Marshon Lattimore take care of business, because everybody knows the stats, right? If you ever draft Mike Evans in fantasy, you knew goddamn well when they were playing the Saints, because you knew goddamn well you probably need to put him on the bench, or you're looking to take him out of the receiver spot and put him in a flex, right? Because he ain't gonna have a great day. And if you're Marshon Lattimore, I hope that this rest has been enough for you, son, because this is your responsibility primarily. And I'd even go as far as to say this. Don't get him ejected. Get you both ejected. Like, if you got get in that fucker's
Not a bad
head.
idea.
Like Draymond Green, this shit. Like, you piss him off. Look, these two don't like each other. This isn't some they have bad blood. Okay, It's a Taylor Swift song. All right, they need. If you're Marsh, get in his fucking head, because I'll tell you right now, the best thing. I take it as a cost-benefit analysis. If we lose you, but we lose him too, net positive.
So let me say this. So this is also for NFL fans and anybody. This is the most exciting wide receiver DB matchup across any game this weekend. Like, it's going to be awesome. These two have a healthy respect for each other, but a very unhealthy hatred for each other. And so they are going to go after it. And K-Dot, this is where I want to say, yes, you want to trust Marshon Lattimore, and as much as you can, not double, because since week 14, do you know who leads the NFL in touchdowns and receiving touchdowns?
I'm guessing it's him.
It's Jalen McMillan with 7. And he's on a 5-game touchdown streak.
That's right.
The next closest, T. Higgins and Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison with 5. Devontae Adams has 5. Jamar Chase has 4. Jalen McMillan recently has turned into a guy that Baker Mayfield absolutely trusts. So you need to, in my estimation, trust Marshon as much as you can with Mike, and then have Sanders still, and maybe even help a little with, you can pick. If you want to help with Mike Evans, that's fine. Just look out for Jalen McMillan, because he's not the same one we faced, who scored on us, by the way, in that very first game. He's not the same guy. He was a rookie this year as well, but he has been on a heater recently. Baker's been finding him. The tight end that's being found also is Payne Durham, maybe a name you're not familiar with, 2 games in a row with touchdowns. So just other guys to keep an eye out for in the passing game there, K-Dot.
I don't. Yeah, we're going to bring up McMillan in a second. You can't let Mike Evans beat you. And I'm still sticking with you need to double team if you need to fucking double team. I do not need easy looks to Mike Evans. I understand what it is they've been able to do with Jalen McMillan. I understand what it is they've been able to do offensively. I just got to repeat these. Giants, Panthers, Raiders, Chargers, Cowboys, Panthers, Saints. That's who the Buccaneers have played. They suck. Those teams fucking suck. Now, that's not to say that our defense doesn't have more in line with these guys sometimes than they've done other things. So you can get beat. I don't want Mike Evans to be the reason you beat it. They get beat.
You're taking Bucky away. You're taking Mike away as much as possible.
As much as possible. Because the third key to me is turnovers, capitalizing on turnover opportunities. Because if you start to narrow what Baker Mayfield can do, he loves to force the ball. He will force shit. I love Baker. I kind of love that gunslinger mentality he has. He just trusts it. I can fucking do that. I'm going to get that ball in it and just do it. You got to take advantage of the opportunities. Like, if this is where, if he's forcing the ball to Jalen McMillan, you make sure these guys guys, man, you got to play the best game you have played. Like, if and if there's anybody that knows a little bit about Jalen McMillan, it's our rookie Mikey Sanders still. These motherfuckers played against each other in the national championship game last year, right?
They did. Good pull.
I think he had like 30-some yards, but a tutty. Also, McMillan had a touchdown on Mikey week 1. They know each other. There's a quote actually from McMillan. He says that Sanders still is the toughest player he ever faced in college. He was pissing me off. He was calling out formations and routes. Mikey, digging it. This is get personal, DBs. Marshon, take Mikey out. Take Mikey Evans out of the game. Mikey Sanders still, take your boy Jalen McMillan out the fucking game. Like, this needs to be personal. These need to be your best games you've had. Noah, St. Juice, Davis, maybe. Do as best you can, right?
This is a situation where it's so nice having Marshon Lattimore back, not just for the story, not just because he's your number 1 corner, but because of the caliber of player he's been in the past. And in this particular matchup, it allows you to devote a few more resources to stopping the run, right? That you maybe aren't able to otherwise. So that's the importance of Marshon Lattimore just being on the field in this game. So just want to point that out as well.
100%. It's look, the other thing that when I talk about the turnover aspect of things, he's going to give you opportunities. Frankie Louvu, Jeremy Chan, all you. I bet not see no dropped interceptions.
Baker leads the league in turnover-worthy plays and interceptions.
You are going to have your opportunities if we're doing the other things right in this game. It's playoff time. You have to take advantage. This is win or go home, baby. You're playing with house money. You gotta make these fucking plays because that will end this thing pretty fucking quickly if you guys can make this shit happen. You can dead this fucking shit pretty fucking easy because once again, I think our offense should be able to keep what it is they need to keep up on offense to score these fucking points. Defensively, these are where you motherfuckers got to show up. You cannot let Bucky Irving beat you on the ground. Take it away from them. Take it away.
Any final thoughts here before we go over to the prediction?
Hell of a game.
Hell of a game. And with that, let's go ahead and go to the predictions over here for this wild card game against the Bucs. As you can see, the Bucs 10-7, but they won their division. That's why they're hosting the game. We're 12-5 as a wild card. K-Dot also 12-5. Magnificent season for him. I am 10-7, just like the Bucs. And so here we go, K-Dot. From you, I need a score. I need a winner. I need a player of the game. The over-under. Bucs are favored by 3 points, and the over-under is 50.5 points.
So, on initial spec, what I wanted to do was come in here and be like, this is going to be a shootout for the fucking ages. Final score would be like 45-42. Defense can't stop shit. Like, it's just going to be throwing up ball. Then I start coming back down to reality. You got a rookie quarterback. You got a defense that kind of lets the run kind of go at certain points in time. They probably get some plays as far as that goes too, right? So what do I see happening? Plus, every time I expect a shootout, I end up being disappointed. That's just across the NFL at large, right? Anytime you want points, you put money on points.
You get no points.
You get no fucking points. Everything ends up looking kind of sloppy. 27-24. Commanders win. Now, I think they won't be able to stop Bucky the way that we need to stop Bucky overall. But I think what the story ends up being is, damn, Tampa Bay wasn't able to use him as much as they needed to. That's what I want to hear. I see us getting a turnover on Baker. I see Jayden doing a good job taking care of the football and not us turning it over on our end. And that, to me, ends up being the difference in this particular game. Is Baker forcing some shit, Marshon doing his job against Mike Evans. We get a turnover, and that ends up being what it is the ball game is. I think offensively, we're going to be doing a good job moving the ball up and down the field. If there's a missed field goal here and there, if there is something that goes wrong in a certain series because of penalties or anything, I wouldn't be surprised. It's 27-24. Doesn't look as pretty as it is, but we are fucking hyped coming out of it.
Okay. A player of the game?
Austin Eckler.
Austin Eckler. I mean, hey, 27, I'd give it to Zane Gonzalez for making a couple field goals there. Here's where I'm going with this.
It's a mixed extra point in my mind, but that's
what's a mistake? All right. So the last time a rookie quarterback has won on the road, K-Dot, you know the answer to this question?
I don't care.
2012,
Yeah,
Russell Wilson against
great.
us with our own rookie quarterback. The last time a road rookie quarterback has won against a non-rookie, Mark Sanchez, 2009. I mean, we're going way back, but this kid is special that we have over here. And against Philadelphia, got his lick back. And against Dallas, wasn't him, but the team got their lick back. And I think he is very excited for this matchup. I think the team is totally different. The reason I predicted them to lose week 1, lots of chemistry issues. It's an entirely new roster, 60%. This is why don't feel good about it. Well, now we're in week 19, where everyone has had time to come together. And so I think the Commanders do win this game just because we've got a team that doesn't know any better. And it's an exciting time. I'm going 31-30. Okay, because these games against the Buccaneers historically are nuts. And so I think 31-30 for our Washington Commanders. Player of the game, despite that high total, Marshon Lattimore steps up. I don't know if he's shutting down Mike completely. I think he's doing just enough to slow him down. Or maybe, to K-Dot's potential point there, getting them both ejected, in which case you did your job, son. I mean, that's what you need to do. It's psychological warfare on that side. So Marshon Lattimore, my player of the game, and we are fired up at the end of this game. On to bet of the week. K-Dot, what you got for us?
I was fucking around with some stuff. I don't, once again, this is a rookie quarterback in the playoffs. Like, you really want to fuck with anything? So I'm going to keep things kind of simple this particular game. I'm looking at one thing. Right now, FanDuel has it at minus 102. I don't have a graphic or anything for it. It was kind of
sure.
Austin Eckler with 3 receptions. I really do think there's going to be some opportunities in the short game to get the ball to Austin Eckler in space. And after what I see last week, them just kind of keeping him in the game, I think that was supposed to kind of. The other thing I need to talk about the All-22. I don't think that we went to the run that much because I just don't think Kliff thought it was necessary to show it. Why he thought it was necessary to show the trick play, I don't know either. But it's like, I think we might see more exotic things when it comes out from out of the backfield. So I think Austin Eckler with 3 receptions minus 102. You can parlay it with Commanders, tease that out to plus 7.5.
Okay.
Say be on the safe side, and you get plus 160 for both of those.
That's nice.
I'm kind of playing around with one of those combinations.
Okay. I think that's a good shout over there. And so with that, we go over to the comment mailbag featuring an intro from our very own Nikki.
Comment mailbag time, motherfuckers. District divided, ain't got time for no suckers. Spread the word, get in line. OGs and new G's, it's your time. And spread the gospel, cause this shit is divine. Yeah.
And thank you, as always, for that intro, Nikki. We begin with Coach. Shout out, Coach, with not one but 2 comments. Here's the first one. I used to co-host an Eagles podcast. I might do it again next season. My point is that Mariota is far more consistent than Jayden. Jayden has had 3 elite games. Does that make him an elite QB? How good is Lattimore? I'd say he contained AJ. He certainly didn't lock him down. I'm absolutely taking Tampa. Congrats on 12 wins and running the table with house money. K-Dot, your reaction?
I'd say that if you were looking at this game, I mean, the All-22, Mariota was more consistent than Jayden. And there's absolutely the case that Mariota's peak in what he's able to do athletically or even throwing the football is the stuff what Jayden Daniels can do. So that to me is where the wash is. And not to mention, yeah, he's a rookie quarterback. I don't expect him to be as consistent as the other guys. But what I was seeing from what it is that you were doing on Twitter, maybe you were just being hyperbolic, or maybe it is that I just wasn't paying attention enough because you do run mostly a Eagles Twitter, so who gives a fuck? The way I made it seem is you said Mariota was your guy over Jayden, and I think that's horseshit.
Yeah, it was a bit much. I will say this, though, Coach. Definitely go back to hosting a podcast. You got a lot of great takes, a lot of not so great takes, but podcast is a great place for that. So you should do that. Does it make Jayden an elite QB having 3 elite games? No, but he's ahead of schedule. I think we can say that much, right? Like for a rookie to have 3 elite games, can you name another one recently? Like CJ, yes. Take your time. I mean, it's just something to think about, right? A rookie quarterback doing what Jayden's doing. Heck, even the road rookie QBs that we mentioned winning, Russell Wilson, that was with Marshawn Lynch and a great defense with Pete Carroll as the head coach. Mark Sanchez, it wasn't him airing it out. It was Sean Green and that defense with Rex Ryan. These were very protected guys. Like, we've got an amazing rookie season. We'll see how he progresses beyond this. And that's what the playoffs are for.
Putting the team on his fucking back.
Yeah. Look at this team. We said it last week, where if you took the quarterbacks off these rosters and then ranked the rosters, we're in last. We know that. We're playing with house money, to your point. But that guy, like that Ringer article saying, what a fucking superhero, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, damn right.
And here's Coach with the other comment. I called K-Dot out on Twitter because he looked and sounded happy that Jalen Hurts got hurt. Happy and relieved are different things. If Sidney Brown injures Jayden Daniels in the playoffs or next season, I might be relieved, and that's a compliment to Jayden, but I would never be happy about it. If Ben Van Sumeren, Phillies Facebook, absolutely lays out Luvu, I would be happy about that. Oh, Phillies Facebook. What am I saying? Phillies fullback. Sorry. What am I doing? I don't mean injured. I just mean physical football. Tanner McKee and Marcus Mariota are consistent and efficient quarterbacks. Tanner McKee already in that. Jalen and Jayden have higher ceilings, but both dudes are not as consistent. Jayden has had 3 elite games all season. Cincy, Philly, Atlanta are the 3 he's thinking of. What % chance do you give Washington to beat Tampa in the wild card round? K-Dot, over to you.
It's Coach, right?
Yeah.
I'm not addressing the fucking shit about Hurts anymore. I said what I said. You heard what you wanted to hear. And because you frustrated me with bringing this shit up again, I'm not answering your question.
Okay. I will go with 51%. A 51% chance that we beat Tampa. I mean, it's a total toss-up. You give the home team 3 points, that's your standard, I don't know what the hell is going to happen line from Vegas. That is exactly what that is. This Bucs playoff history with us, always tight. I see a tight game. So hence 51%. Dolores Woodard, shout out in all caps. Hello, District Divided. I love that opening song as well as your content. Go Commanders is the comment. Appreciate that, Dolores.
Thank you.
K-Dot.
Dolores.
Thank you very much, Dolores. Appreciate that. We go over to Big Papa Grizzly. Excellently done there, K-Dot. Marcus Mariota is now 2-0 in relief work this season, and I believe that means a hell of a lot more than most people realize. All season long, we have been asking, who are we? What is our identity? Are we a ground and pound team? We thought we were, but that's changed. Are we an air it out deep ball team with our receivers? Politely, no. Are we the most team like team in the NFL? Are we the most like team in the NFL? Look, outside of Detroit, I think yes. Look at the last 4 weeks. Each one a nail biter. Honestly, Josh Harris could have run an end of season ad campaign like those old monster truck commercials. Sunday. We'll sell you the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge. I digress. Each one of those wins was a culture win. Those wins don't come if this team doesn't believe in each and every one of its members. As much as everyone says, if we got 5, we got a chance. If these other guys aren't stepping up in these moments too, we could look like the Bears. This last game against Dallas proved it. And I would like to quickly thank the incomparable K-Dot for what I know is going to be an amazing All-22 review. This team could have quit and rode off into the playoffs secure in their position. Did they? Hell no. They rallied around Mariota and did what they fucking needed to do to get the win because they aren't going to rely on another team to drop the ball. Cough, cough, Green Bay. Cough. Mm-hmm. To help out our seeding, we are going to take care of our own business. Now, yes, we got a lot of help from getting to play backup QBs in all those games, and context matters. But play matters more. I believe our culture has been set, gentlemen. We are a team. Share this shit. K-Dot, over to you.
Wonderful comment. I do think the Mariota stuff is indicative of a couple things. Number one, it's like I've been saying, Kliff Kingsbury's offense works. I see guys that get open. There's opportunities to get. And even to bring it back to coach, there is absolutely more consistency you can see from Jayden Daniels to make this offense click. But he's also a rookie, so I'm not expecting it at 100% all the time. And there are moments where I'm like, hey, if we just took advantage of what we need to take advantage of, hit those balls the way we needed to earlier in the game, I don't need you. I don't need your superstar heroics there at the end. But the fact that you have that clutch gene just means if the other part catches up, lights out, baby. Lights out.
Lights out. Mariota has been excellent in the 2 times that we've asked him to come in. I remember he was a bit rusty against Carolina at first, and then once he got going, oh my goodness. I mean, the thing was beautiful. And same thing in this Dallas game. So it's good to know. And the Kliff, forget it. It's gone. Like K-Dot said, the offense works. So if anyone's still hanging on to that, sorry, this season completely dispels that now myth over there. Or
I'd also like
growth.
I'd like to know how much Anthony Lynn's doing. I would like to know that.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Especially with the run game being not as good now, but in terms of the play calling and in terms of play design, I would also be very curious because Anthony Lynn has been on a number of staffs where even the head coach, where he's had efficient offenses, and that's what we're looking at over here. So that's a good question there, K-Dot. We go to Blood Clot. Shout out, Snow G right there. The fact that we're playing our week 1 opponents in the playoffs is like that "what have you learned" test in school. I hope they learned that they need to complete their tackles. Baker is quick and elusive. Even when our defense looks to sack him, he breaks out and throws a 20-something yard pass or runs for 15. Tackle better and cover Mike Evans. And for the love of God, stop with the self-inflicting penalties. Hopefully Lattimore can be that shutdown corner. K-Dot?
That's why I keep going back to, like, I know some people don't like the terminology house money. As a matter of fact, Danny Heifetz, who wrote that amazing article, when he was prefacing all of it on the podcast, he was like, I really don't like when people talk about the house money thing. But it's more about the mentality you have when you do have the house money stuff. It's not to beat yourself up. It's to stay loose and to play the game the way you know how to play the game. It's not over trying. That, to me, is where Baker Mayfield will destroy you. He loves ripping your heart out with these last minute shit that just doesn't look like it should happen the way it happens, and then he completes something and tackle this motherfucker. And if he does do one of his patented Baker Mayfield stuff, but he probably will do because he's in the playoffs, forget about it. Like, move on to the next fucking play. I do not want to see you guys playing tight. No reason to play tight. We're in the fucking playoffs. There should be smiles. There should be, let's go have some fucking fun out there.
Baker is at his best when his back is against the wall and expectations are gone, which is house money, right? So, like, when you think about, Danny may not like house money, I think it's perfect for what we're talking about here, because when there's expectations on Baker, you see a slightly different quarterback. He's not as sharp. He's not as good once people are actually believing in the guy. He seems to fluctuate between, oh, no one believes in me, and he starts rising, and then people do believe in him, and then he settles a little bit. And it's just sort of that rhythm. He's a great quarterback. He is a great quarterback, just to be clear. And he could very well win this game. Very well win this game. To stop Baker from doing all that, you got to get home with the pass rush, but to even enable the pass rush, it's stopping that run first and foremost to make it an obvious passing situation. So that's what I would say that we hopefully have learned, because Bucky Irving had 9 carries for 62 yards in that week 1 game against us, his rookie debut, where he was great. And Rachaad White wasn't doing as well. I believe his 10 carries, 38 yards over there. We go to Earl Bruce. Shout out Earl Bruce, another OG there. If the Commanders win the turnover battle, they can win the game. If not, they could get significantly outscored. I see the Bucs winning, but the Commanders improving in the offseason. Next year, they play a much tougher schedule. Will the free agents and draftees be up to the task? AP, we are with you. Share this shit. Must be said that I believe it was Pro Football Talk, or maybe it was somebody else, that named Adam Peters their executive of the year with the turnaround we've had here in DC. So definitely high hopes over there. Kid, if I could start this reply here and say that amongst the 14 teams in the playoffs, the Bucs are last in passer rating allowed. We mentioned that. They are also last in turnover margin at a -0.3 a game. So it's around 0, but typically what you see is everybody in the playoffs is in the positives. We're in the positives. Yeah. So this means, and it's generally an indicator of early exits as well. So if you turn the ball over, like you're saying, Earl Bruce, there's a good shot you're not going to win, especially if you don't win the turnover battle. And so I anticipate us winning the turnover battle. K-Dot even mentioned he anticipates a turnover as well. K-Dot, over to you.
Yeah, that's my entire recipe for success, is a turnover to stack it in our favor. And that, to me, is like, it's the look, man, going into a playoff game with a rookie quarterback, I'd almost want to bake in that there is going to be a turnover from him, right? Like, you kind of like I'm saying, like, But once again, Jayden has played at a level at which I expect him to get sacked a whole hell of a lot more than I expect him to throw a turnover at this point. So, like, taking that into consideration and knowing I haven't seen him, he hasn't really been a fumbler. Knocking on wood.
Yeah, I heard that and I did it too.
I do see Baker absolutely throwing stuff into tight windows, absolutely taking some chances. And if I'm being completely honest, I've seen aspects of that against this defense at certain points at the time of this year. Well, it'll work out in his favor. Well, he'll throw in the tight windows and yeah, he'll beat you. And if we want to play that kind of game, if we want to let Bucky Irving run all over us, if we want to not be in position properly or communicating properly, then be prepared for a fucking blowout.
Boy, no, you're right. You're right. Be prepared for that. That would be on the board in that situation. Also, just want to say that when we talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well, we talk about some of the quarterbacks that we've gone against more recently being like, well, I mean, the Bucs, look, the last 5 weeks, I mentioned it with Jalen McMillan, and you had mentioned also, who these guys have played. It was Aiden O'Connell and Desmond Ridder and the Vegas Raiders. It was Justin Herbert, and that was a great win for them. Objectively, a great win for them. In LA at that, it was Dallas with Cooper Rush, who had a 108 passer rating. Carolina, Bryce Young, 100 passer rating, and then Spencer Rattler. So, like, they also, and before that, they played Carolina with Bryce Young again, and before that, the Giants with Tommy DeVito. Like, they have also, when you see their wins stacked up, ours are more impressive. I think ours are objectively more impressive than theirs. So, just keep that in mind as well when you look at the Bucs.
Okay. Their season before the bye, pretty decent as far as from teams that they played. The only thing is, if you look through what it is they did before they bye, they lost a lot. If it's not for the fact that they play in the NFC South,
they're not in the playoffs.
Now, that does not mean it's the disrespect. It's not disrespect. Because once again, the way I've seen our defense perform, I've said it, there's not a team in the playoffs that I don't think has the ability to blow us the fuck out. I respect Baker. I respect Mike Evans. I respect Jalen McMillan. I respect the fuck out of Bucky Irving. I respect Todd Bowles. Be on your P's and Q's, motherfuckers.
Be on your P's and Q's. One last thing on Earl Bruce's comment, winning the turnover battle. You will recall that Benjamin St. Juste actually was in position. He played one route really well, and it was in his hands. He just missed it. So to K-Dot's points, you catch that one. Is it a totally different game? Week 1 even. And I think we get an opportunity here in the wildcard round. We go over to Canis Wavy shout out. Everyone is going to say that the main difference maker for us going into these playoffs is Jayden Daniels, and rightfully so. But I don't think there's a more determining factor for us than one Terry F1 McLaurin. Yes, I still think it's a better nickname than Scary Terry. We've seen what Kupp does for the Rams in the playoffs, or what Chase did for the Bengals on their Super Bowl run. Not comparing Terry to those receivers, but the point is there's a pattern of teams with lesser rosters having their best receiver come up big in the playoffs. We cannot afford any of those ghost games of Terry be having 17-5, same color t-shirt. Make this postseason your oyster, Washington, is the comment. Got to get Terry involved. I think we've done a much better job overall of that. There was the Atlanta game where he wasn't, but overall done a better job. It will be inexcusable if we come away with a loss and Terry, was hardly involved, Kata.
Yeah, man, it would be. I'd really, really hate to see it. The only thing that gives me any pause in any of it is the last 2 weeks. The combination of Terry and Jayden hasn't looked as spectacular as you kind of want it to look. I don't know what that is exactly. I don't know how it is they need to get back into form the way they used to. But yeah, I want that to be something that we lean on. Like that goes back to early on when I talk about what it is you need to do to get the ball out quick. That one of those things the boom bat plays to me is always a Terry McLaurin slant route. Look, they did not connect last week on something that is usually automatic, like a Terry McLaurin slant route. To me, if you got that in your first series and they connect, you're usually going to be in for a pretty fucking good day. It's just get them involved. Like it is a priority because we talk about this all the time. If you're looking offensively for us, outside of Jayden Daniels, who's the most talented player on the team offensively? The answer would be, and not counting the offensive line, skills position player. It's Terry McLaurin. Who's second? I don't know, but there's a fucking chasm.
Yep. No, excellently said there, K-Dot. And I think the answer to how do you get him involved early, I look no further than the Tennessee Titans game, where there were a lot of questions about Terry's involvement entering that game and him being stuck on the left. Well, okay, how about you put him on the right side and a quick curl route? Just get him the ball. 5 yards, doesn't matter. But it fires the team up. And then right slot, little slant to your point. Okay, so he's not always on the left. I think Kliff has done an excellent job of moving him around more. But yeah, maybe you start the game and let the Bucs know you're ready for war by giving it to your best skill position player. By going, hey, we're in this, okay? And he's going to lead us. So over to you. Can you stop us? And we go over to Abe Morris, 525, with the final comment over here. Shout out. Excellent soccer goalkeeper, by the way. Know this guy. In week 1, it seemed like the Commanders had 7 or 8 golden opportunities to sack Mayfield, but he managed to slither away each time, and it absolutely killed us. What adjustments do you think Witt and Quinn will make to make sure that doesn't happen again? K-Dot?
And I kind of went through it. Like, these are my keys. It's either, to me, it's execution or not executing. I think the game plan is pretty self-evident. It's just whether or not we can be consistent enough in executing what it is we need to execute.
Yeah. Andrew, I would say, spoiler, his name's Andrew. Andrew, I would say that a lot of it is we keep harping on the defensive tackles getting push, or at least I do, right? We're spending a lot of money on Jonathan Allen, on Daron Payne, and we spent that second round pick on Johnny Newton. Johnny Newton also, I do not believe, played in that first game. So it'll be nice to have him around as well. I think getting that push is super important because, again, getting to obvious pass situations helps a whole lot. I think in those situations where Baker slithered away, it wasn't necessarily an obvious pass situation. And if it was, they're already gassed from just not doing a whole lot beforehand. So it's just setting the tone, honestly. I don't really know what more to say other than, look, it's the playoffs and it's who wants it more at a certain point. We can talk X's and O's as much as we want to, but ultimately guys need to step up and they need to want it. Jonathan Allen worked towards this moment to play this game. Here we are. Make the play. Go ahead, K-Dot.
No, that's what it goes down to. I don't think there's anything they can do too differently schematically than what they have been doing, just because there are some confines within the defense as far as when it's all about talent and when it's all about bend but don't break. You're kind of on this razor's edge about like what it is you can execute and not execute. While I'd love to see the defensive line get penetration and like start pushing, then I also look at that and say there are times when that looks great, but they're on run fucking plays, or you're way too over pursuing, or there needs to be a good balance in what it is we're doing, and we need to have guys who are more versatile in what it is they can do. I mean, don't get me wrong, Daron Payne's been doing a great job as far as being on the outside, but at the end of the day, to me, all around, just purely, it's a lack of execution. It's a lack of attention to certain details and fucking things up. And I think that stuff can be outcoached, but it's play with house money, play loose, play fun. Make it happen.
Make it happen. And let's see if they do. And this was the show. This was District Divided, a DC Sports podcast, more specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. I am Amit. That is K-Dot. And if you enjoyed it, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, put your predictions in the comments, and K-Dot.
If you got any sort of rituals, anything you've been doing. So like for the last, I shit you not, I live in Baltimore. Since the bye week, I discovered this place called Cheese Steak and Company near BWI Airport, or in health, whatever. It's south of the city. I've gone there every Sunday morning to get a cheesesteak since we've been on the winning streak. I will be there Sunday morning to get me a motherfucking cheesesteak. Do whatever you need to do. And it's shit!
Share this shit. K-Dot, get yourself a cheesesteak. And after the pod begins right now. All right. Quick question for you, K-Dot. Tyreek Hill to the Commanders. Your thoughts?
No.
Thank you. The answer's unequivocally.
I've been thinking about it the last few days.
Yeah.
I have. It's just I look at the age.
I look at the age. I look at the antics. Like,
I don't care about the antics.
I care a lot about the antics, just because I think that what Adam Peters and Dan Quinn are trying to build, we talk about finding the right profile of player as well. Mm-hmm. I think Tyreek switching, first off saying I'm out to the media, and then changing his profile picture to his face on Antonio Brown leaving the stadium over there, ironically playing for the Bucs against the Jets. I don't know. I don't think it fits culture-wise to what we're looking to do here.
I think absolutely surface level does not fit what it is we do here. If you guys say, what does it look like to play like Commander from what we've seen this year? I don't think anybody would put Tyreek Hill on that list. The only thing I will go to is that I do believe in people being able to change. And I also believe that sometimes your environment can bring that upon you, can kind of force that change. You can have a locker room kind of be. You look at Pittsburgh and some of the malcontents they've had over there in the Mike Tomlin era, and how they haven't really been issues in Pittsburgh as much as they become colossal fucking problems once they leave Pittsburgh, right? I also think what's happening in Miami is particularly a little rough. I think that I like Mike McDonald.
McDaniel?
I love McDaniel. I do love McDonald too, but I love Mike McDaniel. I think there is a little bit of you remember like in high school and middle school, there was the teacher that was a little younger than the other teachers, and he was sort of like buddy with students. And it worked for a period of time, but then it doesn't work. Like it's hard for them to discipline. And if they start moving from like friend mode to discipline mode, everybody's just sort of out of whack. And like some people think that teacher has like favorites. Some other students don't know how to react to that teacher being that particular way because they don't have those interactions with others. That's what I'm getting from Mike McDaniel at this point.
Well, that's why, to your point, I think OC seems to be the better fit for his personality as well.
I think his OC in the NFL, I think fits perfectly as far as the personality thing. I think that head coach will fit perfectly if they're winning.
Of course,
winning,
it'll fit. If you're winning, head coach will fit anybody.
I think that there are a lot of things that he does I think there are a lot of things that he does philosophically as far as the way that he wants to run a team or the attitude that he wants and the conversations he wants to have happen. They're great. I think those are great. But I also think in the NFL, there has to be an enforcement angle. There has to be, I'm serious about this angle, not our coach vapes on the sidelines and he looks like he wants to be Tony Montana there in Miami, which is fucking hilarious. And I love him. But there does need to be kind of a return to like I'm not about, I never liked the idea of like you have and I'm not saying he's not fully white, but like you have the white coach cracking the whip or whatever when it comes to the NFL teams. Like, I'm like, fuck you, right? But I do think even if I'm running the company and everything, there needs to be a certain amount of responsibility, a certain amount of accountability. And I just think it gets awkward down there.
Yeah, no, that's fair. What other wild card matchup are you looking forward to?
All of them.
It's a great slate of games.
Yeah, man. I'm all in on everything right at this point. Like, it's just it's a good slate. It's a really good slate. Like even like the worst game is probably the Chargers Texans game, right? But even that one I can look and say, like, I'm really interested in seeing what happens as far as that breakdown. I want to see what Harbaugh and Herbert can do in the playoffs. Stroud and Nico Collins, I think they're a bit of a wild card if they can just get some things kind of cracking. I was really looking forward to the Rams Viking stuff. Shout out to anyone out there in LA suffering from what's going on out there, and I just have more than one conversation. It's crazy out there.
It's scary stuff, man. Seeing the images, seeing how it spread, there seems to be 0% containment. You got a number of friends in the LA area. It's scary stuff.
Yeah, man. And I'm sure you talk to your friends in LA, you could tell. Even when they're the one or two that are trying to like put on a brave face, you could tell they're putting on a brave face.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And knowing that they move, and I'm really high on the Rams. Everybody knows I'm a big Rams guy, but the idea of the Rams having to go through what it is they're going through from a personal standpoint and now can't even play at home. They're playing in Arizona, even though one would say, well, it's really a home field advantage in LA, but it's still, you're playing on the road now. It's not really a home thing. And you got a Vikings team that wants fucking blood. So like, it's a hard matchup, but Lord knows I want to see it. I want to see how it is they bounce back. I love Sean McVay. I love the resiliency of guys like Matt Stafford. These dudes that know adversity, and they know how it is to combat it. Packers, Eagles. I, of course, want to see that shit. I just want to see, look, the Eagles are going to come out on fucking fire and looking like a goddamn juggernaut, or Jordan Love might get to them boys and things might get a little questionable. I can see it happen either way. I'm probably leaning toward Philadelphia beating breaks off these motherfuckers, honestly. But I think it'll be fun either way. And Broncos, Bills, man. It'll be cold. Bo Nix is chaos in the playoffs. And Josh Allen is always primetime TV. It's going to be a blast. And then, of course, Steelers Ravens.
Oh, man.
Another one. Like, the two teams that, like, that matchup always feels like, oh, my God, it's going to be these dudes. They hate each other. And then it ends up being like a 13-10. Anything can happen. Like,
yeah. You saw the point spread on the game, though?
Yeah,
9.5.
Yeah, look, I do have a few bets on a few parlays where I have Pittsburgh plus. Yeah, I got them. I got them
9.5 is
I
something.
think that's insane for that division.
Division, exactly.
But then again, Pittsburgh has not looked good once the George Pickens thing has kind of come off the rails with him and Russ. And Russ has kind of reverted back to trying to be hero Russ and trying to be locker room hero Russ, and nobody wants that. Weird shit. But then I'm like, and then Baltimore defensively, they struggle like a motherfucker all season. But then they did what they should have been doing, which is move Kyle Hamilton around, and shit looks different. So it looks
a lot different.
Yeah, man, it is a weekend full of wonderful, glorious playoff fucking football. I am so sad that this means we're coming and wrapping up an NFL season, but Lord knows I love the teams that are in these fucking playoffs right now.
Yeah, no, it's going to be super exciting. Also got to shout out both of us because not everyone in the media, and we're just a couple guys in DC, Baltimore, respectively, doing the spot, but not everyone in the media has their Super Bowl pick alive. Like both of them. We do. You had what, Rams, Chiefs?
Yep.
Which looks, hey, certainly possible, especially with the Chiefs. Rams, we'll see if they're able to overcome that first round and get a little bit of momentum there. Look out. And I've got, I'm hanging on by a thread here. I've got the Ravens and Packers. And so that is still going, but definitely need the Packers to win that one against Philly, which would be doubly amazing for that reason. Oh, if Philly loses after resting these guys, not going for the record, and that Green Bay just walks in and beats them. Oh,
like if the Rams beat Minnesota on Monday, I'm throwing a bunch of money at them in the Super Bowl.
You think so?
I'm quadrupling down.
Wow.
Like I'm all if they can get past Minnesota, I am all in. Like right now, I'm like, hey, my pick's still alive, so I gotta sell this.
Yeah. But once you actually get to a point where you believe in it,
then I'll believe in it again. So like if they beat Minnesota, I will believe in it again. Yeah, man. Now I was still hoping that there was a little part of me that was hoping that whole Aaron Donald was gonna come back.
He'd probably be great. I mean,
that would be amazing. And the thing with LA is that when you start seeing these things like life isn't a movie. Usually when you get shit like that happens, it's just too much to overcome. But Lord knows if they can get that fucking win, the way America will be behind that fucking team and the way that they will feel like a team of destiny. That's what I've always said about them is that I don't care what it looks like at the beginning. I don't care what it looks like even midseason. I'm like, they're going to turn on when they need to turn on, and they're going to win the games they need to win and get into the playoffs where they need to. And that, to me, is that if those motherfuckers start feeling momentum, I ain't picking anybody over.
No, that's a really good point. I didn't even think about it from the team of destiny standpoint and the story behind them as well.
It's either us or them.
Yeah. No, that's a good point over there. Man, it's going to be exciting. You want to quickly run through your picks before we go for these wildcard games?
I'm mostly teasing spreads. Just letting everybody
That's
know.
right. If you had to pick the games,
if I had to pick, I got Chargers,
okay,
Ravens, Commanders, Bills, Eagles, Rams.
I have all of that as well, except I have Minnesota. I have Minnesota winning that one. Although Darnold, he's got to shake off that last game where it was a pretty big spotlight. I don't think that means that's who he is.
No,
I'm not about to give him the Kirk Cousins treatment, but he has an opportunity to certainly redeem himself. He just needs to play well. So long as he plays well, then there won't be questions about Sam Darnold's ability in big games. So it's important for him specifically in a contract year, no less, to play well. And I expect him to do so. I like this Minnesota team, man.
So before I talked to usually talking to Brendan, I've been saying that I thought the most complete team in the NFC is Minnesota. And I've been saying that for a while now, just because of the injuries that happened to Detroit.
Mhm.
And even with the outcome of that game, I still didn't think I was wrong as far as who the most complete
They
team
had
is.
so many chances.
Right. I still think Detroit when Detroit's playing the way they need to offensively, especially, few guys could stop that. And then what they were able to do from a defensive standpoint to start opponents and that, like, nobody was expecting that shit at all. I don't know if they can replicate that. They might have used all their fucking juice for it. Yeah, Minnesota to me is Philadelphia, most talented, most complete Minnesota to me. And just talking about the NFC. If we go to the AFC is when I start thinking everything out of whack as far as like who's better than whatever.
That's fair. Well, that was the show, everyone. Thank you guys for listening, and we will see you on the other side. Hoping it's a good result, of course, just like all of you. And so hopefully we're playing with house money. Let's have a good time, and let's hopefully celebrate a Shades Monday over here together. So until then, take it easy and enjoy the games.
Have fun, everybody.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.